Here it is. It's Friday. Favorite time of the week. Get up and dance. Time to chill. Time to pour your favorite drink. Alcohol, non-alcohol. It doesn't matter. We don't discriminate around here. Shout out to Ghost Beat. Tag the social media. We'll post it later. All right. Yes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those jams as we bring it to you every Friday. Oh my gosh. I know I'm like a broken record, but it's true. This year is going by fast. It is officially Friday, May 21st, 2021. So, what episode are we on now, Wes?
This is episode 7.
Episode 7. You know, I was totally thinking about wearing a tux today, you know, because episode 7, 007, you know, James Bond, definitely one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. James Bond. Shaken, not stirred, you know? All that good stuff, So, without further ado, let's get into the show. So, episode 7 of Real Talk with Coach Q and
Broker Wes.
All right. So, quick introductions. My name is Kieran McGlory. I am a realtor. I get to help my clients buy, sell, invest in real estate. And I'm also a coach, which means I get to coach agents and help them build successful real estate businesses. And then Wes.
Hey, everybody. This is Wesley Oliver, also known as Broker Wes. I am a mortgage broker. I am the money man. I am the person that helps people figure out the best way to finance a home and make it fit into their overall financial picture.
Oh, I love that. He is the money man. So if you need money, you go to Wes, right? Yes. So we always want to start with something leadership, something inspiring, something motivational, something to aspire to. So today I'd like to share something from one of my mentors, Mr. John Maxwell. And he talks about the philosophy of best versus grit. Now, you may walk into a room and you may not be the best dancer. You may not be the best singer. But you always have the ability to get better, which is grit, right? Now, a lot of us are born with a certain level of talent, right? Some of us, like I said, are good speakers, maybe good dancers, and so forth. But being best, meaning when I say best, meaning what you're naturally gifted at, can only take you so far, right? You may be good at something, but if you're not constantly growing to it, then you're going to plateau. You're only going to be at this level. So there's plenty of scenarios out there where the best dancer not necessarily won the competition. It was the person that had the most grit. Maybe the best singer didn't win the competition. It's the singer that had the most grit. Because when you have grit, that forces you to get out of your comfort zone. That forces you to continue to move on to the mission, right? Now, I've watched shows, and I'm sure Wes watched shows, and, you know, like, I'll bring up a show that probably you guys have probably heard of, American Idol, right? Like, you know, you see these naturally talented singers, right? Like, oh my gosh, they're great. And they don't end up winning the show, right? So it's not just you having that natural talent. It's about the grit. Like, how well do you push yourself? You know, it's like, yeah, you're a great singer, right? But there's more levels to it. Are you willing to put in the work to be better as opposed to being best? And like I said, competition shows or competition period, right? That's the difference between being best and being versus grit. You know, grit has and does overcome best on many occasions. So instead of you focusing on your best, focus on grit, because grit is a constant travel of you constantly improving yourself on a day-to-day basis. So don't let your best be what it is, because when you look at your best, you're only judging yourself at this moment in time. That's the difference. Best is this current moment in time. And we know that changes, right? Because your Friday best is not going to be your Saturday best or your Sunday best, because you have to constantly have that grit that's going to make you better and better each and every day. So chase your grit, chase your grit. Want to elaborate on that, Mr. West?
Yeah, well, that's a word. And I'll just say this, that when you look at the most accomplished people in any particular industry, so I'll just relate it to something that's simple for most of us to quantify, which is, our celebrities, right? So when you look at someone like Michael Jordan, excuse me, look at someone like Michael Jordan, look at somebody like, Prince or Michael Jackson. One of the things you hear about them and people like them over and over again is their work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Their work ethic, how much work they have to put in and how much work they do. They're very talented people, but their talent alone was not enough to get them to where they were. They had to cultivate the talent. And in order to cultivate the talent, you have to put in the work. And that's what they did. And that's what we all have to do to get the most out of our talent. And you
Yeah.
hear these stories, like I said, over and over again about the crazy things that these people do, like a Kobe Bryant calling his trainer at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, "Hey, let's go put up some jump shots," you know, or somebody like Beyonce. They said she was working on, I believe she was working on a concert or something like that, practicing. She went like days and forgot to eat because she was just working, and she was so focused on the work. So you may be talented, and that's great, and we all have our particular talents, but you definitely have to cultivate the talent, and yet you definitely have to put the work in behind the talent to get the most out of your talent. Because if you don't, you'll just be somebody that everybody talks about as has a lot of potential, but never really cashed in on that potential.
Yeah. And that's that's a great way to fill that up. I would never want to be described that way. Had the potential to do something more, but just didn't get to it. Just didn't do it. You know what I mean? And that's like living life with regrets. You know what I mean? If I push myself just a little bit harder, if I worked just a little bit harder, if I stayed focused just a little bit harder, you know what I mean? Like if I committed to it, if I chased that grit, So yeah, man, definitely that was a great way to sum up that best versus grit. That's great. Now, if you're not living under a rock, our main event today is talking about staging. Now, currently in this market, it's homes are being sold in a matter of days, sometimes even hours, right? Getting multiple offers. They're saying the average home right now gets about 5 offers, right? Now in Orange County, I would say we double that, right? Sometimes maybe even triple or quadruple that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. So staging, for people that may not know what staging is what we move furniture, we take photos down. What we're trying to create is an image of the home that's going to appeal to the most buyers, right? So when we stage, like for instance, every home that I list, regardless if it's a condo or a mansion, the home is going to be staged, right? Because I have a certain level of service that I deliver to all of my clients, regardless of where your price of your home is. You get the Nordstrom, you get the white glove service when you work with me, right? So every home that I list, I do stage it. Even in this market, even though homes are selling, in a matter of days, for me, it's really just about providing the great service. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one of those people that said, well, we really don't have to stage because I'm going to sell your house in a day. I'm going to sell your house in a couple of days. For me, you get great service regardless of what the market is doing. Because I have a level of standard. Wes knows. You know what I mean? Like I have a certain level of standard that I can't go below, and I get annoyed by it. Even seeing my colleagues, seeing their homes, seeing their listings on MLS and seeing their poor photography and how the home isn't staged just because we happen to be in this market. So a few of my colleagues came up to me and they asked, like, here, why do you still pay for staging in this type of market? So I figured, you know what? That might be a good discussion to have. So, so we decided to talk about that today about staging. Does staging, matter in this type of market? So, Wes, what are your thoughts on this?
I think staging always matters because even though you're going to get a lot of offers on your home, or you may, in this market, you're going to get offers. We all know that. It's going to have an impact to me on not only the number of offers you get, but also the quality of the offers. So the quality of the buyer and the quality of or the amount they might offer. Because would you rather ask yourself this question? Would you rather have 5 offers where the max is the top offer 650,000, or would you rather have 5 offers where the max is 680,000? Right. So a couple things about staging. I'm going to tell you from my perspective why it's important. And I look at a lot of homes. I do a lot of the broker previews and whatnot. And so your job as someone who's selling a home is to try to capture the hearts and the imaginations of as many potential home buyers as possible.
Don't forget about the wallets.
Well, where does the wallet go? Where's your money go? Not to get religious, but as the Bible says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Right?
There you go. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So as far as the staging, it's important because it really sets the tone for the home. And you need to appeal to a broad stroke of people. And let me just say this, let me just ruin the surprise for you. Your style, great as it may be, is just what it is, your style. So one of the purposes of staging is to kind of make it more neutral so that it applies and it appeals to more people. That original piece you might have got from your trip to the Serengeti and all that, that's awesome. But everyone's not inspired by the movie Jumanji. Okay. So remember that buying a home is an emotional decision. And when people are walking through your home, they're imagining what it's going to be like for them to live there. They're imagining, what it's going to be like to sit on that particular couch and hang out with their family or their kids. That's all the things that are important to somebody if they're looking for a home. So the staging really ties that together. And I just got to tell you, while we're talking about staging, one of the biggest pet peeves I have is when I walk into a house to view it and there's no furniture. It looks like it's been robbed,
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about that is it just sucks the emotion right out of the whole experience, because then it becomes a very business-like transaction. Now you're just looking at angles, measurements, things like that. And it's kind of a letdown when you walk into a house that doesn't have any furniture, So to me, that staging is like, it's key. It's of key importance because, like I said, you're really setting the tone and capturing the imagination and the hearts of the potential buyers.
Yeah, well put, sir. Well put. Absolutely. And it makes sense what you said. Like, even though homes are selling quickly, but if your house looked better, wouldn't that mean that you would get most likely higher offers, right? And maybe cleaner offers and more qualified buyers. So it just seems though you would still want to maximize, the value for your clients. So that's what it really comes down to. So when it comes to this market, Wes, it seems like we're both in agreement that you should still stage, right? We're both in agreement.
Yeah, and I left out one of the most important parts. This has been documented. There are studies out there that show homes that are staged will sell for more than homes that are not.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like over 80% of homes that are staged, sell faster and for more money. You know what I mean? So absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yep.
All right. So living in California, right? Our governor is not the most liked person right now. And a lot of that happened to start in I'd say about 2020, a lot of it has started, right? So
Yep.
what's going on right now, what we're seeing is about 26 candidates are currently running for governor, which is it's pretty crazy. So right now, so the topic today is, what are the potential implications of a recall election? Because I do believe that we got enough signatures for a recall election, and I believe you said that should be happening in November. Is that right, Wes? Like possibly around that
Yeah,
time?
it's not set in stone because they still have to figure it out. But I've read a lot of different sources on it,
Hmm.
and they're estimating it. Some say the fall specifically, but some estimate that it'll be in November.
I see. I see. I see. So Wes, I mean, so what do you think some of the potential implications could be of a recall election?
Well, I think, well, if we're talking specifically about what we do, which is real estate, I think some of the potential impacts, I think a new governor going forward could have a different impact on some of our tax policies
Hmm.
that, pertain specifically to property taxes, be it, the actual amount and things like that. Now, of course, we know a lot of property taxes are set on a local level, to a degree, but a lot of those municipalities kind of take their cues from what's going on up higher up on the food chain as well. Now, also, another interesting angle I thought about, because we already know that we're seeing a bunch of people who are trying to buy a house and there are no houses available. Now, combine that with the conversation we were having, I think, early last year, when there was a exodus, a supposed exodus from California, where people were fed up and moving to other states, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So even with the exodus, people are still having trouble buying a home. So depending on who comes in after, Governor Newsom, if he is recalled, what if their policies undo the exodus and people start moving back? It's going to be even harder to find a home, right?
Yeah, we don't want that.
So so there is that. That's another potential repercussion of it. Um, and then several there were some bigger companies that moved out or whatever. Um, oh, and by the way, interesting fact: there are two real estate professionals that are actually running for governor.
Oh. Well, yes, I know one of them. Who's the other one?
I believe his last name. I believe is Osei.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know that one, but I know Meet Kevin. He's running for governor.
Oh no, there's another one.
Yeah,
So I guess we have three now.
three.
Yeah.
Hey, who's this? Okay, I know one. Who's the other person then?
Oh, I have to look. I forget his name, but they both ran. They both own pretty big property management outfits.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. All right, yeah, it's not
Yep.
John Cox, right?
It is John Cox.
Oh, okay, all right,
There it
yeah,
is. Yeah, it's John Cox.
okay, yes,
Yep.
okay, yeah. He ran. I remember he ran against a Newsom, a couple years ago, like
Yeah.
2018. Yeah. Hmm.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes, right?
Yeah, so we will see. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely, like you said, seeing a bunch of people coming back to California, definitely seeing based off of what happens with the elections. Um, would that cause? Well, maybe it'll cause more people to want to leave California based on the results of the elections as well. I mean, I guess that could be something that could possibly happen. I mean, obviously, like you said, in terms of the municipalities and so forth of what could occur, with the recall election. So, but it's definitely interesting, to definitely see what happens because, us obviously working with people on the ground level. I mean, we get to see firsthand, how this, COVID has impacted, our, not just our business, but other people's lives and their business as well.
Right.
So yeah, man. So it's interesting. So we'll definitely have to see what happens, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated on what's happening, and also hear, what these candidates are saying, what they are proposing. I know one of them, is proposing not to pay income taxes on your first $250,000, which I thought that was pretty cool. And then also having casinos, set up, throughout California. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then also the philosophy of future schools, which I think is really cool. Like having your 14-year-old able to kind of take a path in terms of learning a particular skill set. So by the time they are age 18, they actually have fundamental skills that they can actually utilize in the real world. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah.
I got to tell you though, that casino situation, I think he's going to have a lot of pushback on that.
Yes.
Because of the stigma around casinos and what it brings to a particular city. Hey man, everybody loves to go to Morongo and Pachango and all that when they can go visit it, leave it, and go back to their, civilization. I think people are going to feel differently, if they're driving through their neighborhood and they see a casino. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Absolutely, for sure. Yes, and also one of them has a plan to get rid of homelessness, in like 60 days or so, something like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things proposed. So it's just a matter of things getting passed and so forth. So, yeah, definitely a recall election can definitely have some effects, absolutely, for sure. So we'll just keep you guys posted as we get closer to it and see what's actually happening. So that will do it for the hot topic. All right. So now we move on to the market update. So today we're going to talk about homes, and we're going to talk about home values, specifically equity. So Wes, what's going on with those market updates?
Yeah, so I'm gonna share a little bit of an article with you by a writer by the name of Jan Swanson. This is on Mortgage News Daily. Mm-hmm. So the last few times we've had this conversation, I mentioned to you and our audience, don't expect all these distressed properties to show up because we are dealing with a very different set of circumstances than we were, in 2008 and so forth.
Wait, Wes. So you're saying, sounds like you're saying there's not going to be this wave of foreclosures and all these good deals of houses coming. That can't be what you're saying, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of the numbers say. So I came across this article. Title of the article: Equity growth among homeowners may provide significant foreclosure barrier. So two companies have issued reports on the strong gains in homeowner equity. Not only is this an indication of building household wealth and the ability of the housing market to withstand some of the economic damage of the pandemic, according to Atom Data Systems in its first quarter, U.S. Home Equity and Underwater report by CoreLogic says that the equity could help prevent widespread mortgage defaults and foreclosures as government pandemic support fades. Adam reports that 17.8 million U.S. homes, in its words, are equity rich in quarter one so far. So they're equity rich. That's the combined loan to value of their mortgages was 50% or less. So the LTV was 50% or more. They have 50% or more equity in these properties. The 17.8 million homes represents 31.9%, or one out of every three of the 55.8 million mortgaged homes in the U.S. This is up from 30.2% in the fourth quarter of 2020. The report also shows that just 2.6 million, or 1 in 21 mortgaged homes in the first quarter, were considered seriously underwater, with a combined loan to value at least 25% or more than the property's estimated market value. That figure represented 4.7% of all U.S. properties with the mortgage, down from 5.4% in the prior quarter. Now, this is the part that really puts a bullet point on it. Among the 50 states, 41 showed an increase from the fourth quarter of 2020 to the first quarter of 2021 in the percentages of homes considered equity rich.
Is California on this list?
Oh, you know it is.
Oh man. So wait. So what about all those people that ran out and got those certifications for foreclosures and short sales. Yeah, you guys are probably feeling that right now, right?
I guess if they move to the other 9 states, they might be all right. But it says the gains came as median home prices nationwide rose 16% year over year in the first quarter of 2021 and were up at least 10% in most of the country.
Wow.
So that really says it all. And I've been telling people this over and over again. One of the big differences between right now and 2008, 2008, people had no equity. And I don't care where you were. I don't care when you bought your home. I don't care how nice the neighborhood was. I bought a home in a very nice neighborhood in Orange in 2008 and proceeded to lose about $50,000 in equity after I purchased the home within a year. Okay. So we've just heard it. A lot of people are equity rich. A lot of people are equity rich. And rest assured, these are national numbers. Those numbers get much higher if we're talking about specifically like Southern California.
Southern California. Yeah.
So if you have equity in your home and you're struggling to pay your bill, and by the way, you have a market where homes are receiving an average of 5 offers whenever they're put on the market. What would you do? You would sell the home. And by the way, you know what we call that when we sell a home and we make money on it? It's called an equity sale. And many of these people are going to be able to sell and make some money off the equity. So again, like I said, you can keep waiting around and, click your heels 3 times and say there's no place like home. And I don't know if you're going to get what you're looking for in this particular market. Like I said, I can't speak for all the other many places you can buy a home in the United States, but I'm just telling you, I don't see it.
Yeah, well, couldn't put it better myself, man. Absolutely. I mean, this is something that we've talked about since, it's like the facts aren't there. You know what I mean? The facts aren't there. If we're noticing month after month average appreciation of 6%, people are equity rich right now. Like we're not running into a situation where people are in foreclosure, short sales, in values going down, values are going up. So there's no real indication that we're seeing this wave of foreclosure short sales. And for you agents out there, you know what I mean, that are running and getting those certifications, I gotta tell you, you know what I mean? Like you gotta do that. Seriously, like don't waste your time doing that. I gotta do that one more time. All right, seriously, stop, please, because you're gonna be one of those people. Got the certification for foreclosures, and where are they? You like this? Nowhere to be found. Okay, so equity rich. That's what we're gonna be having. We're gonna be having those equity sales. So let's cheer for those equity sales that we're having. And then once again, thanks Wes for explaining, the market update. All right, now City Spotlight. We move on to the City Spotlight. For the first time listeners, this is the time where we select a city to spotlight on, talk about, right? And today's city we're going to be talking about is none other than the city of Placentia. Now, fun fact about Placentia. Placentia was actually incorporated in 1926. And when Placentia was incorporated, it was pretty much a field of plants and vineyards and all these things, right? And obviously they started developing cities, schools, and so forth. Now, Placentia is really known for their historical district. They actually have, I believe the person's first name is George, and you can actually go and visit. It's like a historical exhibit, and it shows you, like what the houses were, back in the 1920s when, Placentia was established. Now, one of the fun things about Placentia, because I happen to live like pretty much jump across a couple of streets. I'm in the city of Placentia. Is we always go to the Placentia Library, That's something that my daughter and I do every Tuesday. If you guys are first time watchers of the show, every Tuesday I take off. It's called Papa Tuesday. So that's the day I spend day with my daughter. So on Tuesdays we go to the Placentia Library, which is pretty awesome. We definitely go there, and then we also go to Tri-City Park. Tri-City Park is a large park in the city of Placentia, and they have plenty of summer concerts. So definitely looking forward to those. We've watched what was the group? Not No Doubt. I forgot their name. It's like a No Doubt tribute band. Like No Duh. That's what it's called. It's called No Duh, right? And it's a tribute band to No Doubt. They also had like Aerosmith play, which is Aerosmith's tribute band play, which is pretty awesome. And then they also have summer movies. So it's also great, to go to the summer movies. And they also do the Taste of Placentia. They usually do it at Tri-City Park as well, where you get to taste all the different restaurants and all that fun stuff. Now, the city of Placentia also does the Tamale Fest in December. It's usually December 2nd. So that's a date that's on my calendar. So, my family and I are always looking forward to the Tamale Fest. And then also in 2020, Placentia actually became the only city in Orange County to actually have their own fire and safety department. So they just started that in 2020 because most of the cities in Orange County are overseen by the Orange County Fire Department. But Placentia in 2020 established their own fire and safety department. So these are just like fun things, little tidbits about the city of Placentia. And then I'll let Wes share some other fun things about Placentia.
Yeah, so median income is $95,757.
Wow, that's more than we've had, right? For the cities who've done. Wow, okay.
Yeah, so they're doing pretty well there. Median property value $609,000. Okay. They also have a tree lighting ceremony for the holiday. They have a community chorus. I'm not much of a singer, but hey, maybe you can do that. This one was pretty interesting. I might go check this out. They have a fresh farmers market.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen that before. It's off of Yorba Linda Boulevard. Yes.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
A few times. Yeah.
They have an annual photography contest. That sounds pretty cool. They have youth programs during the summer, which is cool. They have.
Oh, wait, I have to stop. You have to stop me there for a second. So the photography program, that's pretty cool. I'm not really good at taking photos, but I'm good being in photos. Just saying. So. All right, you can continue.
I don't know if they're looking for that kind of photo, though. They probably want something that's like artistic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. I get what you're saying. I can't be artistic. I get it. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think they're swaggy.
Go continue with your list. Go ahead. I get it.
So they have a few different youth centers and senior centers, which is cool. The Bradford House, which if you want some historical information and context, they have about 24 elementary schools, 7 junior high schools, 7 high schools. If you didn't know, it's part of the Placentia Yorba School District. So you're a lot of overlap with Yorba Linda, of course. And that's Placentia in a nutshell.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the rundown of Placentia. Now, if you guys have any other questions about Placentia or anything about buying or selling the city of Placentia, definitely reach out to us. We would love the opportunity to help you with your real estate needs. So thank you. All right. Now we move on to one of my favorite segments of the show, the Wes Files.
All right, guys. So the Wes Files. This is the part of our show every week where I try to take some real world experience that I've had, either helping someone buy a home or just dealing with helping someone get pre-approved for a home, and take the lessons that I've learned from those particular experiences and share them so that you can maybe avoid some of those same mistakes. So today it's about a particular potential buyer that I went through a pre-approval process with at one point. And basically it was a situation where they had quite a few of the parts of when I initially started dealing with them a couple years ago, they had some issues with credit that they needed to work on and, get the credit score up and whatnot. And then I recently started dealing with them again, and I was going to the pre-approval. Credit scores got better, but except for made a key, I don't want to call it a mistake, but made a move that's going to have a severely negative impact on how much they qualify for, which, both the potential buyer and their spouse ended up getting new cars. Now, we all need a car to drive. I mean, we're in California, not, like Washington, D.C. I love the subway system in Washington, D.C. Matter of fact, if I still live there, I probably wouldn't own a car. But for me, and this is what I try to impart with all of my potential buyers, all financial roads need to lead to home ownership, if that's your goal. So all your financial decisions and all your financial actions need to lead to home. That's the way you have to think about it. And so if you're someone who wants to buy a home, everything you're doing financially needs to be in consideration before you make that move. And the question you need to ask yourself, how does this impact my ability to not only qualify for a home, but also qualify for a home that I would want? And also, what kind of impact is it going to have on me being able to afford the home once I'm in it? How does it impact my discretionary income? Because this is the one thing that I don't think very many people understand. All things you do in all other areas of your finances pretty much only impact that particular area. Every now and again there's overlap, of course, like what you're doing with your investment portfolio and how it meshes together with your taxes and how you file taxes and your tax consequences. But for buying a home, this is where it's unique, because there's almost nothing you do financially that does not have an impact on your ability to buy a home. That's why one of the main things I tell people, if you need to buy a new car, here's my advice. If you can get by with the car that you have until you're actually in your home, you should wait, because buying a car will impact your ability to buy a home, but buying a home will have no impact on your ability to buy a car. So,
say that one more time.
Yeah, if you buy a car, it will have an impact on your ability to buy a home. But if you buy a home, it'll have no impact on your ability to buy a car.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So, in closing, that's really what it's about. Just if you want to be a homeowner, and I know many of you listening to this do, that's why you're listening to it, then you need to consider how your financial decisions are going to impact your ability to do that. And one of the best ways to do that is to have a conversation with the professional. It doesn't matter who it is, but if you're, have a conversation with a loan officer, and this is whether or not you're ready to go through the pre-approval process or not. And one of the parts that really bummed me out about this particular situation is I always tell people when we start off with the pre-approval process and when we're done with the pre-approval process, if you're going to do anything, if you're going to change anything financially, give me a call and ask my opinion about it. Give me a call and ask me, Wes, how's this going to impact the pre-approval that's already in place or the pre-approval I'm hoping to have in the future? And that call never came in this particular situation. So yeah, rely on your professionals, allow them to help you even if you're not ready, and see what the impact is going to be if you do these particular things.
Oh. You know, I had a meeting earlier today that I was describing the West Files. You know how we do it, and I couldn't think of the name of the show. I'm all like, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds familiar," and I'm like, "X Files," and she's like, "Oh, that." It's like, "Yes, West Files." She's like, "Oh, I like it. How you play the name on words?" Like, "Yeah, we do that a lot." It's like with our title of our show, "Real Talk," right? Because everyone thinks that we're just talking about real estate, but no, we're talking about real things too. So it's real talk, play on words, right? So, yes, and I gotta give credit to my business partner Wes because he's the one that came up with real talk. So that's all him. You know what I mean? So I'll give credit where credit is due, right? All right. So now we move on to our next segment. In the news.
In the news.
In the news. News, not nude. In the news. So I just want to make sure it's not that type of show, right? So in the news. All right. So Wes, what do you want to start out with in the news?
I'm actually going to throw you a curveball because something happened today and we didn't have plans to talk about it, but it was so important. I'm like, well, we got to talk about it. So a few weeks ago, in our news section, we talked about how the expected return to normalcy in California was supposed to be sometime in June. So today it was made official, and I'm just going to go over the details of how things are going to proceed going forward. So this is all by June 15th. So
June
we're to
15th.
reopen.
Yes.
Yes. So we're to reopen fully. So that means the removal of capacity limits and all physical distancing requirements, regardless of settings. But here's the caveat: if the business owner chooses to. So it's no longer state mandated, but remember, all these companies and corporations are private.
Right.
So if they still want you to, keep distancing and all that, they can certainly require that you do. And I'm sure some will. Unfortunately, we live in a very litigious state. And so they're going to have to think about what's the best way to protect their interest financially going forward.
Right.
But no longer there's the state regulating it. Number 2, outdoor live events with more than 10,000 people. The state will recommend that venues have a verification of vaccination / negative test in place. Now, if you can't show one of those two, then you can still enter, but you must wear a mask. Now, important part.
Yes.
This is a recommendation, not a requirement. Okay. It's a recommendation, not a requirement. Now, this next one, very important, a little different. So if you're going to be at an indoor venue with 5,000 people, they are recommending that they implement the same verification. So verification either of vaccination or recent negative test. Now, here's the main difference. In this particular case, if you have not been vaccinated, you should not be able to enter. Now, in this one, they say this is a requirement, not a recommendation.
That's interesting.
So there's that. All travel restrictions will be lifted and aligned with the CDC, as well as so will the mask restrictions. So as far as the masks are concerned, the CDC, if you're vaccinated, you can be mask free everywhere except for prisons,
I don't plan to go there.
Hospitals,
hospitals, okay.
homeless shelters, and during travel. If you're unvaccinated, you still have to wear a mask. Now, the question is how they're going to decide or how they're going to know whether someone has been vaccinated and whether they're wearing the mask or not. So they said they're still working on coming up with best practices to deal with that whole situation. So happy days are here again, I guess, for some people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm so happy about it.
Yeah.
Really moving us one step closer. One step closer.
Yeah, and some people are already lighting the candle because I'm seeing more and more people when I'm out there without mask on. They're like, "Hey, I'm there already. I'm going to reopen California myself."
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. One of my favorite times of year, NBA playoffs.
NBA playoffs. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Lakers are trying to go for a repeat. Currently, they're the seventh seed. They'll start off the playoffs with the two seed, which is Phoenix. So that should be pretty interesting. Should be a pretty exciting series for us Laker fans like myself. Hopefully, not too exciting. You know, we want to be able to cruise every game. We don't want the high stress. We don't need it. We don't need that stress.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Did you hear me,
Absolutely.
LeBron? Did you hear me, AD? Follow me. Okay. We don't need nail biters. I clip my nails. I don't bite them. Now, for you other people that follow the evil empire, also known as the Clippers.
Oh man. Oh, that the Clippers are, hey man. I mean, Clippers are what, in first place?
No, they're actually the fourth seed, and they will be starting their playoff battle against the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
So Luka Doncic, that should be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then lastly, this week we had to say goodbye to a comedy legend, Paul Mooney. Passed away at the age of 79. He's known for, being Richard Pryor's right-hand man, writing a lot of his jokes. One of my favorite things about him was he created one of my favorite characters on In Living Color, which is Homie the Clown, back when he used to write for him.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. After I heard it, I'm like, that is totally Paul Mooney's attitude.
Oh, wow.
Homie, don't play that.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I did not know that. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite characters.
And I love what he did for the Chappelle show too. He had a couple of characters he used to play in the Chappelle show. So yeah, the comedy legend. And you could see on Twitter like all the people, the top comics right now, they were all showing love. They all have tons of respect. Like I said, to them he's a legend. To me, he's a comedy legend. And yeah, blessings to his family and friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well put, man. Very well put. Absolutely. Yeah, man. So anything else we wanna shoot out there?
Yeah, looking forward to my first trip to Disneyland tomorrow.
Oh, you going to Disney? Yeah.
Yep. The big talk this week was Disneyland pulled a bait and switch.
Really?
Yeah, because before when we all, when they announced they were opening up in May and you had to rush and buy your tickets, they were only going to allow 25% capacity. Then the other day they announced, gotcha, we're going up to 35%.
Oh my gosh, not a big difference. I thought you were going to say 50.
Hey, you know what? Every minute I have to stand in line is a big difference to me.
Right, exactly right. Every 10% that they equates to like 20 more minutes in line. I get you.
Hey, just thinking about it. Just telling you.
Oh man, well your family's you guys are gonna have a good time for sure, absolutely.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Star Wars Land. I've never been there before, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be fun. Have they announced when they open Marvel's Land yet?
I don't know I don't know if they did.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be at the other park though, right? California Adventure?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Maybe open for right now. It may be open already for all I know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they probably would have made a big old announcement about it, or my wife would have told me because she's Disney people. So.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that, and I'm telling you, the one ride I wish they would create, my dream. So you know how the Star Tours ride works, right?
Mhm.
the simulator.
Yes.
I want to ride where I get to climb into an X-wing, a simulator, where I get to climb into an escalator, a simulator, an X-wing, and go into battle head to head against some TIE fighters.
Hmm.
Maybe even make a run on a Death Star or two.
Well, you're gonna be surprised, sir. Yeah, I'm not gonna give away anything, but yeah, man, go to Star Wars and you'll see. Yeah, you'll definitely see for sure.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be wearing Star Wars T-shirts. The fam. I found a really cool Star Wars T-shirt. It's kind of got like the opening lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but instead of it's like I'm just a Sith Lord. Nobody loves me. From a poor galaxy.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure you guys are having a great time for sure. Yeah, we're actually doing our maternity photos on Sunday, so that should be interesting. That should be fun.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
What?
I did not do the maternity photos.
How did you get out of that?
Well, I get out of everything.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's been on my calendar for like a month now. So my wife's like, all right, May 23rd. Make sure you have that off. May 23rd. Make sure you have that off. May 23rd. So that was always in my head. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, we we got pictures together at the shower. So, ultimately it wasn't something that my wife was interested in or that she brought up, because otherwise obviously I would have done it.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever makes you happy,
Well, whatever makes them happy, Wes. Whatever makes them happy. That's what it comes down to. Yes.
Let me
We're
tell
part of
you.
the same club, okay?
Let me tell you. I don't say happy wife, happy life. I say happy spouse, happy house.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Cool. Agree to agree. Agree to agree. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yes. Happy spouse, happy house. I like that.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Because the big kahuna got to be happy too.
That is true. That is very true. So I think I have to take that from you then. So happy spouse, happy house. I love that. I love that. Absolutely. Well, also want to make an announcement. So next Friday, we will be live. Yes. Episode 8 of Real Talk with Coach QN.
Broker Wes.
Yes, we will be live, y'all. So we'll probably go on maybe about 4:45, 4:50. So you guys can listen in, hear the behind the scenes stuff and all that fun things. Because I've been challenged. Like, why don't you guys do it live? So I'm like, all right. So shout out to my social media coach, Marketing Melody. She's like, why don't you do this show live? I'm like, I guess. She's like, yeah, do it. And shout me out. I'm like, all right. I shout her out here, and I'll make sure to shout her out on the live show. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And as always, we appreciate your comments, likes, your shares, and your subscribes. Until then, see you in the next episode.